Hello, hello.
All right. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Our presentation this afternoon is modernizing Microsoft 365 and Entra ID migrations without downtime. So our agenda this afternoon, we'll spend a few minutes talking about BitTitan's partnership with PowerSyncPro. And then it'll mainly be Conrad doing a demonstration of the PowerSyncPro tools. So first, between Conrad and I'm Eric Franklin. I'm the director of sales for BitTitan for the Americas team. Conrad is the product owner for PowerSyncPro. Fun fact, says Conrad was the New Zealand under-21 champion for Latin American dance. So, and my fun fact is a few years ago, I had the chance to throw the football for $1 million at the Big 12 championship at halftime, and I'm here today. So I guess that answers the question about how that went. So, BitTitan and PowerSyncPro have entered into a partnership, and it's primarily to complete the migration journey for our customers. It brings together the BitTitan tools that everyone knows about moving mail and Teams and OneDrive and SharePoint, along with the tools that PowerSyncPro brings, which are migrating desktop profiles and Active Directory. The benefits to this for our customers, it helps streamline and make the on-prem to cloud and cloud to cloud migrations. It makes them more smooth, and it accelerates the adoption of Microsoft 365 for the team. So it helps you get to the end goal of your migration more quickly. So from this point, I'm going to hand it off to Conrad and let him take away the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Hi, I'm Conrad Murray from PowerSyncPro. Going to try and have a collective prayer to the demo gods today. I'm going to, if we could all get together, bow our heads for the demo gods. I'm going to try and migrate 4 different use case machines using our software, and at the same time, I'm going to run through a PowerPoint presentation. So we'll see how we go. Migration's complete. If you use BitTitan, you'll recognize the migration whiz port here. So when you're done with your mailbox and your OneDrive and your Teams migrations, we're going to jump on over to migrate your Windows workstation devices. I'm just going to flick over to my machine here. What I want to show you here is that I've got 4 virtual machines here. The first machine here, I'm going to run an intra-join device to intra-join device migration. And the second one here, it's an Active Directory hybrid joined device. Hopefully you can see by the Access Worker score here, and I'm going to make that cloud native, intra-joined. And the third device in the bottom left here, this is just going to be an Active Directory where I'm going to migrate the applications only, and it's going to stay in the same Active Directory, but with the use of the CDJ keys, if you're aware of those, we're going to make a hybrid join to a different tenant. And then the bottom right-hand corner, my Mambo machine here, that's just going to be a straight-up AD to AD migration. So I've done you the honor of already installing the agent, which I will talk about here. All these machines are Intune enrolled, got Outlooks all configured. I'm just going to click off the Start button on these, and we will come back and have a little visit to those. As you can see, these are the notifications, migration in progress. Typically, I'm going to talk a little bit about the workstation migration, but the one in the top left-hand corner, which is the Jive machine, which is the migrating intra to intra, and the number 2, the Salsa machine, should migrate in about 10 minutes with a bit of luck from the demo gods. Right, let me jump back onto here. I think that's us. Yes, perfect. Right. So about PowerSyncPro, this is not a new product. We are fortunate here in the audience today. I've got Twan Van Beers, which is also my co-founding director. He wrote the original product for PowerSyncPro directory synchronization in December 2018. It was based out of PowerShell modules. It was version 1. June 2019, we realized that we need a journey and a story around Windows devices. So it's all well and good having your workstation, your migration of your mailboxes and your Teams, but on the day one user experience, what are we doing with the workstation? Reconfiguring Outlook, Teams, OneDrive. July 2021, we moved it to .NET Core 3.1, so it was moved out of PowerShell into .NET. October 22, version 2, .NET Core 6, July 24, .NET Core 8. And this month we have released version 3.2, which we're very happy about, went GA yesterday. So we've been around a long time. We've served over 200 different customers for this and migrated probably closer to maybe 4 million users these days. This product was built and designed from the ground up, from people that eat, sleep, and breathe migrations. So we put a lot of thought, a lot of love, a lot of energy into making sure that this tool is what that's for. 18 months ago, we had a customer that used this product and migrated 9,000 devices on one weekend, no problem at all, Windows workstations. Let me tell you a little bit about directory synchronization. We can sync AD to AD, AD to Entra, Entra to Entra, or Google to AD and Google to Entra. We can sync across disconnected networks. So if you have your Active Directory that you just want to keep isolated and just have a remote sync agent sitting on a member server there, syncing back up to the PowerSyncPro server, that's what we do. When I talk about highly scalable and performative, that's no lie. We probably, when we're doing AD synchronizations, we're syncing around 200 or 300 objects per second. We have a client with 250,000 objects. After we did the full imports, the full syncs, the full exports, thereafter it runs a Delta sync in about 5 minutes. That's true story. We can sync modern passwords, legacy passwords, so with or without your RC4, which if you're going to Server 2025, you'll be well aware of that. Obviously syncing set history as part of AD migrations. And built into the DirSync tool, before you can even export a migration, a DirSync, you have a what-if report to go and check that actually what you're trying to do will be what it's going to do. And we can rewrite attributes, do scoping with complex expressions using C#. Migration agent, Windows device migration, Windows 10 or 11, will retain the profile. The Windows profile gets re-permissioned. So if they're logging in today with Joe User, they're logging in tomorrow with Joe User, that's exactly what they see. They just log in with the same account, they see the same desktop, the same wallpaper. We'll migrate from AD to AD, Entra to Entra, AD to Entra, same tenant, different tenant, and even workgroup devices. So if you have customers perhaps are coming from a Google environment, have never connected to an AD, never connected to Entra, you need to get them connected, this is the tool for you. And the big play from Microsoft, go cloud native for everything. They will tell you you have to use autopilot and fresh start the devices. Not true. It's our #1 use case. We take machines from Active Directory hybrid joined and make them cloud native inter-joined to the same tenant. And that is one of those that is running over there, done and dusted in 10 minutes. We have multilingual support. So if you're our European guys, we've got the German, the French, the Spanish. All of the dialog boxes are popping up in those languages. We have self-service migrations by the system tray icon. Ultimately, you're looking for reduced support. And what we saw with migrations, that the day one user experience could take an hour, 2 hours to get back up and running, contact the help desk, second line engineer support, getting that right down. So they're done and dusted. Hopefully they're back up and running, doing whatever they need to do really quickly. With the tooling we can use, we can connect runbooks, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, and have pre and post migration scripting. And then we put a lot of love, like I said, about people who eat, sleep, and breathe this into a very intuitive UI. Reporting and logging, absolutely standard. So let me show you a couple of screenshots here. This is a directory synchronization screenshot for me here. What you're looking at here, I've got some AD to AD, I've got some DirSync profiles. I have different scoping for users and groups, shared mailboxes, different things like that. And you can see I've got a Google directory in there as well. As I said, thousands of objects in minutes, even hundreds of thousands, right? Scoping, you don't need to scope by OU. You can scope by domain, OU. You can get very granular with your scoping. We're matching the source to target based on attributes, combination of attributes, so that we can do creating and updating. We engaged with a third-party security company. We take the security very seriously. Obviously, everybody does, zero trust. But we've had penetration testing done against our tooling, and we're very proud of that. Already spoke about the remote sync agents for disconnected directories. You know, some people don't want to talk to each other, open up firewall ports to have, 389, which is 443. we can define the target attribute values with direct mapping or the expressions. And again, that's that complex expressions I was talking about. If this, then that. You know, if the domain contains this, rewrite the domain to that. I already talked about synchronizing Google, Entra ID. And the remote password agent, again, that's to support modern password. So let's have a look what's next. This is the dashboard for my Windows Workstation migration. This is a screenshot, but if we were jumping over to there, you'd see the same sort of thing here. So the migration agent, it's a single MSI installer. You can push it out through your normal deployment mechanisms, be Intune, Alteris, SCCM, whatever you look like. A couple of switches, push it out. The Windows agent runs as a service, and it uses the local system account. Reporting, we have the dashboard, runbook status. When the agent is on the machine, it is harvesting the profiles. You can tell which profiles are on which machines, so you can tie up the machines. When the agent runs, it brings all of the information it runs on that device, gets written to the Windows application event log, rolled up to our server, and we can see the agent logs and detailed reporting. When we're running a migration, there's a concept of runbooks and batches. And the runbook contains the instructions for the device to do here. So you can see a screenshot here. And this is, the tab is not showing us the device state here, but that's defining whether it'll go, what the join state be. AD joined, Enter joined, if it's going to Enter joined. We'll even call the Intune enroller post-migration to make sure it becomes Intune enrolled. Here we've got the recommissioning updates. And again, AD, Entra to Entra, workgroup migrations. We can even migrate servers. So we'll do the file recommissioning. If you can see down there, there's remote permissions for file shares. And we're saying chaining runbook dependencies. So you might need to run multiple things in different orders. Application reconfiguration. So if you're going cloud native, you don't need to repermission the applications, right? You're just changing the join state. However, if you're going to a new tenant, and the problem you have today is that they're logging in, they're connecting to Outlook, Teams, or OneDrive is all connecting to the source tenant, but ultimately they need to reconnect to the target tenant. So we will go through, reconfigure Outlook, OneDrive, Teams, Office activation, things that get forgotten about, OneNote, the Edge profiles, even bootstrap the AIP keys that are on there in case you've migrated AIP. And yes, if you're wondering, does it do BitLocker devices? Absolutely. If the machine is BitLockered, we'll suspend the BitLocker key, escrow the key, and then write the key back up. Migration user experience. You can see here, this is my lock screen on the right, which is what the user sees. We are very, very, how am I over the time? 12 minutes. We're very keen on the end user being completely aware of what is going on the whole time the migration's happening. So what we can see on the left here, we've got multilingual support. You can see this is in German. And here, so this is cached credentials for Active Directory offline domain join. And then you would have seen up here, your migration's about to start, migration's in progress, and this is called a lock screen image. What we don't want is end users logging into their machine before we finish the migration. If they do that, when we're running through trying to repermission the file system and the profile and the registry, if they log in, they'll lock it out. But in version 3.2, we now have a new feature that if they're in scope for migration, we will actually prohibit them from being able to log in during that migration event while still allowing local admin accounts to get logged into the device as needed. Is my clicker stop? Nope, there we go. This is kind of just the standard screen of the reporting that you would get during a migration. So I migrated my device Lambda 45 here. This was my batch and runbook information, so you can see all of the things it was doing. We have these phases that it runs through. So we've got the information, the phase of the completion, repermissioning, device state, startup phases. All of that information is the exact same information that is on the device in the Windows application event log, except it got wrote up to the server as well, so I can see it. At the end of the migration, what we're looking for is this. Your migration is now completed, and they go to fire up Outlook, Word, Excel, OneNote, back up and running, job done. Right. Let's jump back over to my machine. See how we're going. Am I on 2? I am on 2, that's right. There we go. Let's reconnect up here. Yes, right. As you can see, they have all finished. Now, I'm going to log back in. This is my steve.smith, and for those of you who know your cricket, apologies, it's going to take me a couple of times to get logged into these guys. And the one over here, which well, that's Steve Smith logging in. We'll just leave him to log in over there. And we've got Donald Duck here. Now, prior to this migration, this machine was AD joined. It is now Entra joined. Matt's logging in. And my other device down here, or we'll use Mickey Mouse. And then the last one over here was for those Uncle Scrooge. Voila. Oh. Now, this machine here, there we go. Which one is there you go. All of those have migration completed. I'll take this guy up here. Bring them over to here. So we'll take these one at a time if you like. They have all finished. This is was the one I went to Cloud Native. And here is also finished. This one's finished. And I think that should be all of us. And that's finished as well. So I would have been able to prefer to be able to show you for each of those ones their state. But in the space of, what do we have there? 15 minutes, got 7 minutes left here. All of those machines have migrated from different use states, either going to cloud native, Entra to Entra, AD to AD, or app reconfiguration. So I was a lot quicker than I thought there. Any questions and answers? I'm happy to pitch and take. We are based on stand 5431 is where the PowerSyncPro stand is. If you come over and see us, you can come and talk to us about any part of the tool. We've got these very cool data blocker giveaways for you, which you can plug into your computer. We'll block out the pins for data transfer and just have charging. You can enter the Lego drawer. We've got the Death Star to do. Other than that, come and talk to us about partnering with either PowerSyncPro or BitTitan, and we'll hopefully get your Windows workstations migrated, Active Directory and directory synchronization all up and running. Any questions and answers?